Mom, Dad, I just have to say, it breaks my heart watching you stress over dinner every night. This year, I don't want you doing the fridge stare down. Hot take. With the new Blue Apron, eating healthy is easy. They've got pre-made and one-pan meals with plenty of balanced nutrition. No subscription needed. You could be plating like a chef instead of negotiating with leftovers. Make it your healthy, tasty, and easy 2026 dinner resolution. Just saying.
Get 50% off your first 2 orders plus free shipping with code LISTEN50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Well, it's 8:15 on Sunday night. We've just watched the FA Cup semi-final.
That's it, pod over. Yeah, see you next week, fellas.
Me and Tom tried to persuade Ed that we should pretend that we'd lost the recording of this, but he's like, nope.
No, I don't think we have to.
Always podcast.
It's not so bad that we have to become the Come On You Spurs podcast.
No, nowhere near. I mean, I actually think there are very few meaningful takeaways from this game whatsoever. I think this game almost exists in a bubble.
I hope so.
Unto its.
I hope there isn't a knock-on effect of injuries, tiredness, loss of confidence. I mean, because we come off and I mean, look, I agree with you, but I'm just going to make a slight counterfactual argument, which is to say we've come off 2 games in which the performance level dipped somewhat. Southampton. Yeah. As we said, Southampton controlled the narrative of that game. Palace, good in moments, but not overall. I mean, good enough. And now a really catastrophic defeat. And hopefully that isn't a sign. You know, you can certainly tell a story that says United are in trouble here. West Ham, old manager coming to Old Trafford on Wednesday. Players super tired. It's all set up for a really bad defeat. I just hope it's not that. I hope we can just put a bubble around this and say, manager changed the formation. Sure, he's doing it for reasons, but I kind of feel it just sucked all the momentum out of United and just said to Chelsea, hey, you know, we're here to defend, which is what they were. First 5 minutes, it looked like that. And then they just were always playing catch up from there.
Yeah, so I should say, like, to slightly contradict myself, when I say there's no meaningful takeaways from this game, I sort of mean the long term. I'm very concerned about the next 2 games, but we'll come on to that in the second half of the show. So the one thing that I would say does apply to the long term about this game was David de Gea doing what he did again. As my friend Steve has just sent me a message saying, like, the pundits or possibly the commentator saying a bad day at the office for David de Gea. It's like it's not a bad day at the office for David de Gea. It's every 4th game or something.
It's a day at the office. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is now, I don't know how we talk about the De Gea situation in any way other than this is maybe United's biggest single problem right now. Because, I mean, this has been going on for 18 months.
Maybe even 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe even 2 years, and has been immensely costly to United. And I mean, would either of us sit here hand on heart and say we don't think this is going to happen as Jamie Vardy sort of like scuffs one in that he should from 18 yards that he should absolutely save, and then we don't get in the Champions League? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is a massive problem.
Oh,
really.
Look, it's a massive problem. Players go through dips in form. Players lose confidence, make mistakes, as we've talked about many times. Bruno can give the ball away 17 times in a game, and they make the game-winning pass. You know, David de Gea can't make a game-winning save and then let one slip through his legs. You know, and so the standards for keepers have to be much higher. Basically, they can't make basic errors that other players can make and get away with it. And unfortunately, Dave can be like look perfectly competent and then basically chuck one in his own net. And I mean, the second one's just I don't know if it's the worst he's made of his many errors in the next 2 years, but it's definitely in the top 1 or 2.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't offhand think of a worse one.
No, I mean, I can't. It's Taibbi levels. It's not
Yeah.
even a really cleanly struck shot. He's got down
Absolutely
to it, and
not.
I don't know how it beats him. The first one,
He has ages to see it as well. That second one, like it's not like there's. I mean, I couldn't have saved it. Obviously, I wouldn't have got down to it. But as a professional athlete, he has. There's no reason the ball doesn't bobble oddly. It doesn't move strangely. There's no movement that you could have anticipated. He just does not put his arms far enough down and out. Like I feel really ridiculous criticizing a person who is capable of the things that he's capable of for doing something that I couldn't do this most basic version of. So that aside, it's a staggering technical mistake. And it isn't, if he just did this and this was it, this was the only time he'd ever done it, you'd go, well, yeah, exactly like you said, the keepers are held to this very high standard. Their mistakes are incredibly costly. So we probably won't hammer him for this. But this is the pattern now when he's, I don't know if it's when he's tired or when he feels under pressure or when whatever the reason is, this is...
His standards are not once they want... Let's try that again.
Well, if only that was the problem, that his standards aren't what they once were. It's that he's making catastrophic technical errors regularly.
Yeah, funny, he wasn't given an error leading to goal on either of those. Brandon Williams was for the second one, which is harsh on the... Well, no, it was an error leading to a
very
goal.
Bad.
I think there may have been an even bigger error in that one. I mean, look, let's talk about I briefly mentioned it, the formation. I understand why Ollie's gone back to this, because it's the formation that we played to beat them at Stamford Bridge not all that long ago. Luke Shaw playing in the back three, Fred and Matic in midfield, I think, that day, and so on, and actually won pretty comfortably. It wasn't just a negative performance. So I kind of get it, and he's trying to manage the tiredness in the team. I think the problem, though, is that you've got a team that's built up all this momentum, and he's just chucked it in the bin. And I think he's just sent this message out to both his players and the opposition players that this is a United team on the back foot, given all the caveats, and 48 hours more rest for Chelsea. I completely understand why he's kind of thinks it might work, but I have to say I had a sick feeling in my stomach as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, Lampard did the same thing. He rotated half his team and went to a back three.
They do this fairly often, though, but I mean, I know we used to do it too.
Yeah, before lockdown, we were doing it regularly, like it was our kind of regular formation. It's only this like recent run that we haven't. And if you drop Martial, Greenwood and Pogba, then it's a bit like when Kevin Strootman got injured and Van Gaal switched the Dutch team in the build-up to the 2014 World Cup. It's the individuals that you lose mean you have to do something. Like if he hadn't changed the system, we'd have been looking at a front three of Ighalo, James and Rashford, and a midfield three of Matic, Fred and Fernandes, and a back four with Brandon Williams, who's not played since lockdown, except maybe he did play against Norwich, I'm not sure, but he hasn't really started a significant game, and a right back who's exhausted, and all those kinds of things. So you can understand why he wanted some extra security and extra cover. And very early in the game, like both Lindelof and Bailly made kind of forward progressive runs and joined in the final third, and you thought maybe something was going to happen, and Dan James was sort of frustrating as we expect, and I don't think he needs another hammering for no reason really, and we just hope he'll get better next season or whatever, or in the next 18 months.
With the what's he going to be, about 10 days of a summer they're going to get? Yes.
Yeah. Bruno I thought looked better than he has done in the last few games. His touch looked kind of surer, and he clearly had to be the main man, but we didn't create absolutely anything except for the pen. I thought the Martial one, I thought that was a pen, and then it was outside the box where they made contact.
It was, yeah. We should talk about that, but maybe when in sequence, I guess. But hardly any shots from United, hardly any quality at all. and very little possession, really, very little dangerous possession in dangerous areas, and a lot of mistakes. Just so many.
I mean, partly because of concussion, right? Like Harry Maguire looked really ropey in that second half, and to me, like the one where he ran out with the ball and him and Matic got up in a muddle about the 84th minute or something, to me that just looked like the knock-on effects of being smashed in the head twice in the first half. The Bailly injury was horrible. That was just horrible. And that was his second clash of heads. Greenwood got headbutted by Rudiger, so a lot of concussion in that game. And I don't even know how you meaningfully analyse it. Should we talk about the first goal then?
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent build up. When that comes after the injury, Bailly's injury, doesn't it? So, yeah, it does. Yeah, it's in the sort of lengthy sort of injury time at the end of that. Of course, yeah. So, Bailly and Maguire clash heads. So he got up and he went down again. It's just horrible. You're really worried for him at that stage because it's like something has kicked in. The medical staff were obviously deeply concerned because they stick him in a neck brace, putting on oxygen. It's 6 or 7 minutes of delay while they're trying to sort him out. The air ambulance was in the air just a few minutes later. So, hopefully all precautionary. But it was a real sickener. I mean, especially the fact that he basically collapsed after trying to get up. There was a very brief moment when they were talking to him and it looked like he was pushing the doctors away, and I was like, you are not going back on the pitch, son. No. I mean, at least concussion protocols are not allowed to do that anymore, but still, I mean, it's just horrible. And then United were not at it quick enough. Martial's on, then comes it's definitely a foul on him. He's at the ball first and he's kicked. I mean, anywhere else on the pitch, you'd normally expect a foul because they're both going for it. I don't know if that's the excuse. It is outside the box. He's the last man.
I guess Dean just didn't see.
It'd be nice to have a game with Mike Dean refereeing where he's not involved in a piece of controversy in which we get. But hey, miracles happen one day. And it could well have gone a different way with a different referee who said, I think that's a foul and I think he's the last man. And presumably VAR wouldn't have overruled that. So.
Yeah. So that happened. And then it's just really bad defending from Lindelof, I think, like really bad.
He's just like Giroud, not exactly the quickest. Get the wrong side of him. I mean, it's basic.
Yeah. I mean, Giroud is good at getting the wrong side of strike, and it looks like he shouldn't be able to, and he does it all the time. So he's clearly like decent at doing it. And then I don't know. It's hard. We just hammered De Gea for the second one where he's made an absolutely terrible mistake. This was not great from De Gea by any means.
This is the kind of thing his standards were so high. You'd expect him to save that. You're thinking he's sticking a boot out, and it's another miracle save. And I mean, that's like, he has such a massive bank of credit that you never want to go, bin him and be reactionary about it. But if he's not producing the miracle saves and he's chucking one in his net every few games, then, big decisions have to be made, don't they?
I mean, I don't know how you could say it's reactionary when it's 2 years of very regular. I mean, somebody with more time on their hands than us should go back and really count this up, really look at the times when I'm just talking about clear and obvious. I'm just talking about clear and obvious errors, not even the kind of like, well, I think he would have saved that once. I think if you include that, I think he would have saved that once, you get into a huge number of goals that you could pin on him, and certainly moments that have changed the kind of course of matches and stuff. So half-time comes.
There won't be, by the way, just as an aside, it will be absolutely astounding if United do business for a keeper this summer. I just can't see it happening. And mostly it's financial. So he's on this absolutely huge contract. Really the only place he could go and expect to get those wages is Italy, because of the new tax law they've got there, where it costs them sort of 25% less to pay the same wages, net wages. I mean, would United do business? They tried to get Onana out of Ajax last summer before Dave committed. Maybe if they thought there was a real crisis here, but they have other priorities. They as much as this sort of period of sort of positive results have been fantastic, and our 1-11 mostly is very strong. Beyond that,
2-11.
Beyond that is not enough. I mean, it's not going to close enough of a gap to Liverpool and City. You wouldn't expect us to go from 5th, 4th, wherever we finish this season to 1st. And I don't think we should demand that either. But you want to see evolution. The challenge is, of course, as we talked about, Chelsea are looking like they're going to really strengthen this summer a lot. So United might have 3 squads better than ours. And so I think Solskjaer is going to want to weigh all his problems and probably invest elsewhere.
Dean Henderson is the name that will be mentioned
of course,
time and time again.
Of course, we have a very, very competent keeper there. A very young keeper. And you don't know what happens to him when you stick him into, under the spotlight of being Manchester United's keeper.
No, but if my money was on this anywhere, though, it would be that the day one of 21-22, Dean Henderson is United's number one. Like that, I don't see the trajectory of recovery from De Gea after this length of time.
No, and
almost,
would Henderson,
almost unheard of.
Would Henderson... Like, the really sensible thing for United would be, Dean, if you think you're that good, come back and challenge De Gea. You've seen he's making a lot of mistakes. You've got a chance to take we guarantee you're playing every FA Cup, League Cup, and hopefully not Europa League, and crappy Champions League game. So you're going to get 20 games, 25 games or something, and you've got a chance to challenge.
Yeah. 20 games if the,
20 games
if the cup runs go very well.
Maybe not that many. And a few in the league. Whatever. I mean, you're going to get some games and the chance to challenge. Are you willing? And they may even dangle a new contract in front of him and say, you're not getting this unless you commit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a very decent chance that's what will happen. I mean, all the noise is coming out of Henderson and that he wants to challenge De Gea for the number one spot. I think he might have said there was some, I don't know, I just saw some social media stuff. I didn't look into it, so it could be wrong. But anyway, I think it's very likely to be the case. I think this is going to be a big story next season. There's going to be who's United's number one and what that starts to look like. I think we're going to see sulky De Gea on the bench next season, because the one thing you can say about Solskjaer is he's definitely not afraid of tough decisions. He's definitely not afraid of big decisions.
Oh, that's right. And then United have a player earning £350,000 a week post-COVID, in which they may have to pay him off to go. I mean, that's we're talking a long way down the line. We wouldn't want another Sanchez style problem, but we might get one. And a lot of people said when he signed up to that new contract that this could happen. And they were
absolutely.
They had more foresight than me, who was sure that he was going to be back to his best.
Yeah. So you're allowed one in every 20, Ed. You get one in every 20. That's unlike De Gea, who isn't allowed one in every 20. We can't get through a podcast without calling someone the wrong name or stumbling over our words or whatever.
Well, that's right.
Being competent is really hard. So This is. I don't like having a real go. I mean, I think if it's like they're not making the effort, they're clearly not putting the shift they should be putting in or whatever, then there's a sort of, it's kind of more natural and easy to call them out on that. But when it's like they're trying their absolute best and failing at a thing they used to do, feels awful to hammer them for it. But that's not the intention at all. The intention is just to say, what are the clubs supposed to do at this point? This is really, my only intention is to say this is a genuinely huge problem that isn't going away.
Well, no, sure. And I think, we're obviously much more sort of observational than reactionary in our analysis. It's not no question about that TV, So anyway, I mean, it's stacking out to be a huge problem for United. I mean, of course, It's not beyond the wit of Solskjaer that he might drop De Gea for Wednesday's game if he thought that his head had gone that much. I mean, Ferguson did it in the 1990 Cup final, if you remember. Jim Leighton, his protege, brought him down from Aberdeen and then binned him for a guy who had been playing at Luton Town before that. So,
Absolutely. And honestly, I would be sad for De Gea, but I wouldn't be looking at that going, that's an awful decision to play Romero on Wednesday. Like, I thought it was weird that Romero didn't play today.
I mean, there was some talk about him not being quite fit, but he was on the bench, wasn't he? So,
right.
I think. I don't remember now. I think so.
No, me
I'm
neither,
sure
but I think we would have noticed if he wasn't. So, yeah, this is the whole rest of the game. I mean, he tried to, I guess the one sort of worrying thing from an outfield perspective, Maguire looked completely concussed. Lindelof had a bad game. Matic didn't really... Nobody could change the game when it came on, but the players that came on didn't change the game. But this is just... I do think it is completely reasonable as a kind of whole performance to say an enormous amount of this is down to the fact that we played on Thursday. And they played on Tuesday.
Yes, and Bruno played the whole game. He looked shattered at the end. It's deeply worrying. I don't know how much of that lactic you can get out of their legs, and now 6 games in 20 days that they've played. It's just a hell of a lot of miles in those legs. So they're going to have 2 days of rest, not a lot of training, probably some tactical work before Wednesday. You really need to do a lot of tactical work against David Moyes' West Ham, but I'm sure they will. Anyway, we should talk about the second half briefly. I mean, the one thing you'd say about Martial coming on, United shifting to back four, basically playing the formation that has been so successful since we came back was, well, maybe there'll be a response. And there was nothing.
Just couldn't create anything. Just couldn't.
And Chelsea have very effectively managed the game. They got those 2 screens there. Jorginho sits deep all the time, and Kovacic had a good game. I mean, I can't say I rate him very highly. He seems very ponderous. He's Nemanja Matic without the passing range, but he actually had a good game. One of the very few times I've seen him sort of be impressive. And United just it's very, very crowded, and we didn't have the fullbacks who were creating anything.
No. Absolutely. I just thought it's a shame that Williams didn't have a good game. I mean, it was a terrible mistake for the second goal. What even happened for the third goal? Oh, God. The third goal came from a corner where Maguire just completely looked like he didn't know what he was doing on the run back. I mean, the more I say these things out loud, the more Harry Maguire played the whole second half of that game with developing concussion. I mean... He makes mistakes, but he doesn't normally look that completely bewildered by what's going on around him for such extended stretches of time.
Sure, I mean, got an own goal for the third one, didn't he?
Yeah, and that was a little bit. I mean, no, he didn't make a terrible mistake there or anything. I mean, at first, watching that, maybe with a bit of agenda in my head, I did think, should Dave have done better for that? But that one, I think, would have been pretty remarkable for him, given that it came off Maguire, to get anything on that one. Anyway, it was weak from United generally, really sort of lackluster, and then we got a penalty. And
got a penalty, but then didn't do anything after that. So no. It's the Alamo time, right? 6 up front and launch it. And I suppose at that point, Solskjaer obviously decided before the third goal, the penalty went in, that the game was lost. He pulled Rashford off. But then with whoever's left on the pitch at that stage, I mean, you had Ighalo, Greenwood, Pogba, Martial, plenty of firepower in there.
And Bruno.
Yeah. You kind of expected something, but Chelsea just very effectively managed this game. And I tried very hard before the game to find to not watch the game with Martin Keown. Because he's just the most reactionary of co-com. So instead of this being, we'll think about the big picture here. Very good performance from Chelsea today. He takes that analysis and then tries to make this comparison about where the 2 managers have gone since the start of the season when United won 4-0. And I was like, what? Anyway, yeah, I couldn't turn him off because the no-coms had crowd noise, and I'm trying to, what is worse? The completely fake crowd noise in a very obviously empty Wembley, or Martin Keown. It was a toss-up, and
that's
Radio
an easy-
5 comms sadly was 4 seconds out. So
That's easy for me. That's a very easy coin flip. That's like, I don't like the crowd noise, but the crowd noise doesn't make me wish that I was dead. And Martin Keown kind of does a little bit. He makes me
better.
wish.
I mean, just only thinking darkly here. Wouldn't it be better to wish Martin Keown dead than yourself?
Well, the thing is, this is a good point. The problem with listening to Martin Keown is it makes you wish that humanity was different. That's like, it just makes you wish human beings were radically different as a species.
Well,
That's
the thing is with Martin Keown, he's got a bit of a missing link about him, hasn't he? I've said this before. I think it's probably true.
my friend Dom said, he is out of all the absolutely terrible co-commentators, and there are many, he is the single worst of all of them, because he combines saying absolutely stupid things with using like bad metaphor, analogy and simile, and being really difficult to listen to say anything because of the tone and quality of his voice. It's a very bad cocktail. And also for us, he obviously hates Man United too. And I don't criticise him for that. He's meant to hate Manchester United. It's appropriate and right that he should. But yeah, anyway, Martin Keown, not as bad as David de Gea in this game. Martin Keown was the second worst thing about it.
All right, so anyway, got the penalty. Can't even remember how it happened now. And Bruno scored it. Yay.
Yeah.
9 goals in 18 appearances, which is phenomenal. Few pens in there, but just anyway, good for Bruno. Not his best game for United, not his worst.
No, I thought he looked good. I got a lot of feedback saying, stop having a go at Bruno. I'm like, never ever having a go at Bruno. Bruno's amazing. Like, Bruno Fernandes' signing has been what I think I said on the last podcast. It's been the most radically positive signing at Manchester United since Robin van Persie. Like, he's amazing, but we can say when he misplaces too many passes and misses a shot from 6 yards out. One thing that I wanted to say about the last show, by the way, right at the end of the last show, I went, we didn't talk about in the previous game, the game against Southampton, we didn't talk about a dodgy VAR decision. And then I realised that at no point during our coverage of the Palace game did we talk about the Lindelof penalty on Zaha at all.
Got the ball. He clearly got the ball, then got the man, but,
Yeah. Anyway, that was one which was not overturned. Wouldn't have been overturned in either direction, right? That's what we're looking at with that one. So let's take a break and then...
Monitors solve this. They'd have solved the Martial one today. I think if the referee had gone over and looked at that on the monitor, he'd have given it.
But, given what?
A foul and potentially a red card.
So he can only, if I'm right, he can only overturn it for a red.
Yeah,
in that situation,
that
right?
might be right. Yeah,
because he couldn't just give a free kick.
He couldn't just
VAR,
give a free kick from VAR. Yeah, but yes, I mean, but VAR could have said you might want to look at this. This could be a foul. If it is, it's denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Go check your monitor. I just think it's better for everyone, basically, because the referee's in control and using the technology to support his decision making.
Don't you have to be in control of the ball for it to be a denial of clear goal scoring opportunity?
No, I guess not. It's got to be about a foot away from him. Yeah. So he's got to the ball and he's taken out. But anyway. Anyway,
we were rubbish. That could have turned the game, but it didn't. Instead, we started chucking them in our own net. And
one to forget, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a little break and then look forward to one which, please, let it be one to remember.
Please.
If you want more from the show in between shows, check us out on the socials. We are NQAT Pod on Instagram, Ed's at NQAT Pod on Twitter, and we are under our real names on Facebook at No Question About That. All right, well, we've recovered from our pleading.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm pleading to. I'm at the risk of losing more listeners. It wouldn't surprise you to learn that I am a heathen. I don't believe in the man upstairs or anything like that, but I am praying.
yeah. Well, that's what football will do.
David Moyes robs us of a Champions League place. So results have gone our way somewhat. Mourinho did us a solid. The second best thing he's done this week, the first best thing, of course, being the clip that Amazon Prime put out of Mourinho's one of his first team talks with the Tottenham team. Now, we have a clean tag, and Tom beeps me, so, go look at it yourselves. I think you've probably seen it, but...
By the way, yet another excuse to bash Jose Mourinho out of the blue for no reason.
He's done us a solid. I was saying that it's the second best thing he's done this week. The first best thing was his performance in the upcoming dramedy that is going to be this Tottenham Hotspur doc. The first best thing was, engineering a win against Leicester.
I was prefacing what I was about to say. So, we're very grateful to Mourinho at the moment because that 3-0 against Leicester put us to the point where we're level on goal difference with them, but we're miles behind them on goals scored. So we're going to have to beat. But once we beat West Ham, we'll be ahead of them. If we beat West Ham, we would be ahead of them on goal difference. So we'd be going into that game and 3 points ahead of them. So there's all manner of permutations whereby we could still win the league. If not win the league, finish fourth. Jesus, how far we done fell. Anyway, I was going to preface having yet another go at Jose Mourinho because actually that thing that he said to the Tottenham players is exactly what's wrong with everything about his management. And clearly is not... I mean, it's... You'll never get anywhere playing that way nowadays. Nobody gets anywhere playing that way nowadays. You can't just be spiteful and nasty on the pitch to try and win games like that. It just doesn't work anymore. I mean, I know.
Do you think he tried that? I'd love to know. Did he walk into the Manchester United dressing room and say, "You seem like a nice bunch of lads," but
almost certainly, and he left Pogba, Rashford, and Martial out of a game in the Champions League quarter-final and then said, well, it's just that United are rubbish in Europe. This man is not to be trusted. Anyway.
So Spurs won today 3-0. And
massive for us.
I mean, it's massive for us. And I mean, we haven't talked about XG at all on this show, but 0.69 XG. Scoring 3 goals against 1.42. I mean, Leicester weren't bad at all. I mean, they're much nicer on the ball. Tottenham just kept breaking away. I mean, it's just such a classic Mourinho performance.
Yeah, and that's why they'll never achieve anything under him. Anyway, that Kane finish was unbelievable for the third.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we've had to go at Kane a few times, but he can definitely finish when he's fit. It's the fitness and the number of shots is the problem. Anyway, we're playing West Ham, and the pleading was, we're going down, let it not be to a Moyes side. I mean, we had a little discussion on the No Question About That WhatsApp group. What would we prefer, Watford or West Ham winning? So I was in two minds here. So obviously West Ham winning, basically they're safe. I don't think it's mathematically true, but basically they're safe.
No, they are literally safe because...
Oh, are they? It's only Watford and Villa that are in it now.
No. Right, yeah, because if Brighton and Watford and Villa all win their games, who are Villa playing? And they're playing Arsenal and West Ham. So, if so long as Brighton and Watford aren't playing each other, then... No, technically, if all those other teams win all their games and West Ham lose both their games and there's a 13-goal swing, they're safe. They are safe. Yeah. They're 6 points ahead with 2 games left to play.
Yeah, which is kind of an interesting one. So they're basically safe. Do they now switch off and play with some freedom? Because they definitely don't play with freedom under David Moyes, got to say. They feel very uptight as a team. Or does their intensity drop a bit because they're safe? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just I'm hoping it's not about West Ham and it's about United finding their form back now.
The thing is, if we're absolutely terrible in this game, if we go into this game and we're absolutely terrible, I'd prefer them to be under a load of pressure because then they might make mistakes. But if we play anything like our potential, I'd much prefer them to be playing with freedom rather than them to be putting every single ounce of themselves on the line, blocking every shot, throwing themselves into every challenge. I think out of those two choices, I think them being a bit more relaxed suits us better, really, unless we're in terrible, terrible form. But we might be in big trouble anyway.
They've had some decent results recently as well. I mean, they beat Chelsea, their draw with Newcastle was a pretty good game, and they beat Norwich and they beat Watford. So they're on the uptick. So...
Yeah, you were saying they don't play with freedom, but they scored 3 goals against Chelsea, 2 goals against Newcastle, 4 goals against Norwich, and 3 goals against Watford. So, and Mikel Antonio scored 4 goals against Norwich. It's unbelievable.
I didn't see that game, but some good goals in there. He was very good in the game against Newcastle and very good against Watford as well. I mean, he's a winger who's played at fullback and wing back for West Ham, and he's now playing up front. But he looks very natural there. I mean, he prefers the ball in front of him, obviously, and he might not get much of that against United at Old Trafford, with United having 60% of the ball or something like that. But he can also do the kind of thing that Lindelof especially doesn't like and get pretty physical, So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could target Lindelof and they could get the ball up to him quickly, which I suspect will be their route to trying to create stuff.
Absolutely, and I think the chances of them scoring against us are relatively high. So I think this is all about how do our front five perform. That's what we just desperately have to hope, is that there's enough energy in the tank, which I think now they've got a couple of days to kind of have a little half breathe. I mean,
get in the ice bath and get the masseuse out. Either allowed one. I'm not sure they are.
Rashford, well, the physios can do stuff, can't they? So maybe they can do all that business. Rashford had the few minutes rest at the end. Wan-Bissaka had the few minutes rest at the end. They were both the two that you would say were absolute, well, apart from the centre-backs, definite starters against West Ham that started this game. So we're going to see, I'm sure we'll see Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof and Maguire. There's no choice because obviously Bailly's not playing. Then Matic, Bruno, Pogba, probably Greenwood, I'd say. James didn't exactly do enough to get that place back.
I'm sure it'll be Greenwood. I mean, it's going to be I think you can pick the side now, unless there's any reaction. I mean, Matic did he play the whole game today or did he come off? Can't remember now.
No, he played the whole game.
Which is a worry because his performances definitely drop when he's tired, but he will start. And I assume Brandon Williams will start left back. I mean, didn't cover himself in glory today, but he's the only choice, really. I think you can basically pick the whole side.
I mean, I would pick Williams, obviously. I think he will pick Williams, but Fosu-Mensah played better against Palace than Williams played against Chelsea. I don't think that'll mean Fosu-Mensah gets in the team.
No, you want the attacking outlet there, for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, you're blocking up one side of the pitch, basically.
I mean, he didn't do anything with the ball in attack, Williams, in this game.
No, neither did most of the side.
Neither did anyone, no. So it's absolutely... God, it was so bad. Anyway, so I wouldn't... If we'd lost today, but we hadn't looked completely all at sea and lost, then I'd feel a bit more optimistic about this one. The one thing that I'm kind of repeatedly hanging my hat on is just that the sheer relative lack of time to prepare for this game compared to Chelsea and the sheer kind of exhaustion. One thing probably we didn't talk about that's worth mentioning that did seem a little strange. I should say I listened to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview with Jake Humphrey, on his podcast called the High Performance Podcast, which is borderline slightly insufferable, but the Solskjaer interview is really good, and kind of heard a bit more of that Solskjaer at Mulder that I've talked about 1,000 times on this show, that kind of impressive person who knows his own mind and knows what he's trying to do and clearly is doing something in a leadership capacity right now at United. But anyway, I can't even remember why I started saying all that.
I think it was a love-in with Jake Humphrey.
No, it wasn't. No, it definitely wasn't that. No, it was to make a point about what he said about Lingard in the press conference. Because he said Lingard's in with a real chance of starting. Jesse knows we really value that he has qualities that other players don't have. And then Lingard didn't even make the bench. So maybe there might have been an injury. If there wasn't an injury, that's borderline cruel.
just pick him up and then ditch him. I mean, you don't make the bench when you have 9 subs. There's a message for you. Did Dalot make the bench today?
Not sure, didn't look. But yeah, so I guess Jesse Lingard's not going to start this game. It will be that starting 11.
I suspect if United have their way, Jesse Lingard will never start a game for the club again.
Yeah.
Unless he plays in the dead rubber against Lask.
Or the dead rubber against Leicester, because we've beaten West Ham 17-0. So we should just lay out exactly what the position is right now in the Premier League. So Leicester have played a game more than us. This is our game in hand over them now. They have scored 67 and conceded 39. We've scored 63 and conceded 35. So goal differences are identical. Points tally, obviously, is identical. What this means is if we win this game, we are 3 points ahead of Leicester with better goal difference going into the final game against Leicester, which will mean, it's a big if, because we might not win this game. A draw is completely useless. A draw and a win are the same in this game because there's no permutation whereby 1 point, being... Is that even true, what I said? Oh, yeah, it is true, because
a draw means that we can go to Leicester and draw. And
no, but it doesn't it not mean that?
No, it does.
Oh, no,
Leicester
yeah,
have got one game left.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. So that's right. This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I keep
unless draws for Leicester count double, we're all right. Which maybe they do.
So
a
basically,
draw is not an awful result. We'd then be in the quandary of, do you go for the win? Do you go for a draw? And almost the situation where as long as we don't lose, we're fourth, worries me a bit, because I'm just like, we're going to go a bit defensive. I mean, we're so much better defensively when we're attacking.
So the only way that doesn't happen, if I've done the maths right, is if we lose to West Ham, then we have to beat Leicester.
Yeah.
Or if we absolutely smash West Ham, but even if we beat them, say we beat them 3-0, then we just have to lose to Leicester by less than 3-0. That seems like an even worse stick or twist position. So anyway.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'd like is for us to absolutely nail West Ham just because it's Moyes. It's a shame we can't relegate them, but maybe that 17 goal difference swing could happen if we absolutely nail them. And then we then have a bit of cushion for something crazy happening, like Dave chucking one into his own net, or Leicester suddenly finding their form, one going in from 40 yards out. All of those kind of things that could happen.
Yeah. So goals,
lots of goals.
That's what we need. Yeah.
That's our deep tactical analysis of this one. Smash them.
Yeah, I mean, talking of tactical analysis, we kind of know what we're going to get from Moyes. They've played quite similarly. They're playing 4-2-3-1, I guess you would say. And Declan Rice will be in that centre of midfield, putting a lot of pressure on Nemanja Matic in particular. And I wonder whether they won't have seen that Southampton game and gone, actually, put a lot of pressure on various different outlets.
It's not just Rice, it's Souček as well. He gets around a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of them are technically superb players. I have to say I'm in the camp of Declan Rice is massively overrated. I don't know. Maybe Pep signs him up and turns him into a world-class ball-playing centre-back or something like that. It could happen, but he doesn't look like a £50 million defensive midfielder to me. But they will both buzz around Matic for sure, and they'll try and get it from back to front quickly into Mikel Antonio.
But if we can get on the front foot and apply some pressure to them, then, I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying this out loud. We can do this to any team. If we get on the front foot with our good players getting, and applying pressure, we are unbelievably dangerous.
And I think what you want to do, so Diop and Ogbonna, neither of them are bad players, right? But it's on the turn that they do suffer. Like chucking it in the air is next to useless, which we don't do anyway.
No.
But you wouldn't expect to get a lot out of that. So I think, the quick 1-2s around their back four, and they're going to be in trouble. Aaron Cresswell's not had a good season. I think he's a good player. He's a better player than he's shown, but he's not had a good season. And they started Ben Johnson, who's a kid. I don't know whether they'll do it. Cue obvious jokes about Ben Johnson in the Olympic Stadium when they lined up against...
obvious jokes if you're really, really old. I was thinking I can't believe his parents called him Ben, and he's Ben Johnson. And then I was like, well, his parents are probably so young they don't even remember Ben Johnson. We're just old
So
now.
that was the 88 Olympics. So, yes, he was born after 88 for sure. Yeah, he's 18 or 19, isn't he?
He wasn't born after 88. He was probably born considerably into the millennium that we're currently in. We've got to just do a big reset on when everything was. It's a long, long time ago. Anyway, let's hope. Talking of a long time ago, it's a long time that David Moyes managed United, but the wounds haven't healed. No. His 6-year contract would be up by now, though. Let's hope we put a dent in their safety party. And we take the fifth on predictions. Has it got to the point in the season where, I'm not going to smash them.
That's my prediction. We are going to smash them.
All right, great. What's the score going to be, Ed?
It's a 14-goal swing is required for West Ham to go down from this point.
So we'll do 7 of them.
Could happen.
Yeah, we'll do 7 of them. And we'll
3-0 to United. Comfortable 3-0 win.
I honestly, that would be an absolute dream. I cannot conceive that this team that has blown so many opportunities and always does it the hard way, right? Man United
the
always
good thing
do it the hard
is
way.
we play first, then Chelsea play.
Okay.
So unless we're going to pre-blow it.
No, it doesn't count because Leicester have blown it. Leicester have given us this massive opening. So we're going to step onto the rake that's hidden in the middle of the doorway. I'm going to predict a 2-1 loss to West Ham for us. We're going to lose 2-1 to them, forcing us into a absolutely terrifying last day showdown,
which would be this time next week. So they come thick and fast. We won't have a cup final, so we'll get a little bit of a break before the Europa League starts now. The cup final is on the 1st of August. We don't play again until the 5th, so we're going to get a whole week off. 9 days.
I was really sad to realise that if you'd given me the choice between the FA Cup final and 4th place, I would have bitten your hand off for 4th place. And I feel very disappointed in myself that that's the case, but it's just...
You've missed your call. Arsenal Fan TV is out there for you.
But it is to do with being a content creator. What an awful phrase that is. It is to do with doing this.
It's slightly better as a phrase than influencer. Are you an influencer as well, Paul?
No, I'm not. But this is it's because we do this, and the Europa League sucks so bad when you do this. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I think
it's also important for the quality of football, the players, and also the development of the club. And I know it's I always have a sort of mental dichotomy when I'm thinking about development of the club, because I know in the end, hey, happy club making lots of money, it just means the Glazers get to fleece more out of it. But there is really no scenario in which they just disappear in some kind of fire sale. So we're stuck with them. So the best thing we can hope for is that, the stars align. We win on Wednesday. We don't lose big enough to Leicester that don't make 4th. And Wolves don't win the... I think it would take...
Oh, God.
Wolves and Chelsea winning the...
No, City win the Champions League.
City win the Champions League, Wolves win the Europa League, and actually 4th place wouldn't be good enough. Something like that.
Oh, God. Please, now there's a please. Please don't let that happen. If that happens... I don't know, we just give up, right? That's the end of NQAT, if that happens. If we're not in the Champions League next season, because we finished 4th, and then City won that, and they won that, and anyway. Or maybe there's something to do with the... No, there's not. I was going to say maybe there's an FA Cup thing that saves us with City getting knocked out, but no. because this is not to do with Europa League places, is it? It's to do with the number of players.
Well,
it's basically about
5.
Wolves.
You have 5. And,
so you can't
anyway,
have
I
6.
can't remember. I don't know whether we've got it exactly right, but there is a permutation in which United are in big trouble.
Yeah. So if we had the top 4 plus Wolves, that would be okay. So I think actually that's fine.
Okay, so yes, actually maybe it is Chelsea. Chelsea would have to drop out of the top 4.
Yeah. So if Chelsea
play
if Chelsea
Liverpool
finish 5th,
and then who they play on last day, it could happen. Happen.
Well, they'll be in a good mood, won't they? After this, they play Liverpool and then Wolves. Yeah. Anyway, that is a cliff to fall off at a later date. For now, we'll just bemoan the fact that the FA Cup is dead.
I never liked it anyway. Before we go, just a quick word about Nigel Pearson sacked by Watford.
Well, should we talk about that in some depth on the backers content? When
why not? We will do,
roundup?
But yes, because we'll cover the week's games. But they'll now be onto their 4th manager. I don't know who they've appointed, so presumably his assistant as their 4th manager this season. Hoping they can pull something out from games against Arsenal and Manchester City.
Yeah, good luck. All right. Backers, stay tuned. We're going to talk all the football that's fit to print. Nobody's going to want to hear this after what's just happened, but we'll do it anyway. And everyone else, we will see you after the Leicester game. The podcast is not going to be out on the Thursday because I can't record immediately after the Leicester game. I've got to record it and then watch the match later that night. So we'll record on the Thursday and the pod will come out on Friday. Yeah,
Unbelievable. Probably doing work.
Yeah, literally part-timer because my full-time job is what I'll be doing when the game's on. Anyway, thanks everyone. We'll speak to you on Friday.
Okay, bye now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.